Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My
Love
name
it.
is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be with all of you back for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands like Sneezy.
Gotcha.
Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR Outfitters.com. Don't just
Rar.
wear RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Destiny and Danny, the two D's in Sneezy. Welcome, guys.
Sneezy's
How we
double
doing?
D's.
Sneezy double D's.
How we
This is
feeling,
for the
kids?
dodos, right?
We're feeling great. We're leaving on a tour tomorrow, so this is the night before
Yeah.
Night Owl Hang. So
Night Owl Hang, yeah.
We're feeling great.
So let's talk about that tour. We're doing what, 5 or 6 nights on this Colorado tour? Is that right?
No, it's more than that, right?
Yeah, we're out for 2 whole weeks, going up and down the mountains.
I think it's 8 shows.
8?
Because I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, and then are we doing Wednesday? No. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday the next week.
I just get in the van and go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do too. But the only reason I kind of know is my parents are like asking me, so I'm like, okay, I should have a better answer for you guys, I guess.
So first question, obviously, then family, friends, anywhere in that range that we'll get to see while on that
Yeah.
tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a nice little crew out in Colorado. Shout out to Uncle Axe. And some Brett's sister lives out there, so we're gonna see some family. And
Well, the band's been out there a bunch,
yeah,
right?
this is the band's third tour, and my very first tour with the band was out to Colorado. So this will be
Yeah,
number
and I
3,
think the band's first tour. I
Yeah.
mean,
first
we,
tour ever.
we might get these details wrong, so Austin can roast us later.
He's
But
gonna make fun of us.
I'm pretty sure that from what Austin Lutter has told me is that way early on, almost a decade ago probably, one of their high school friends got married out in Colorado and offered to have them come play. And so one of the first times the band got paid real money to get out of Illinois and like go play some shows was in Colorado. So I think Colorado's a special spot for the band, and this will be my first time going out there with
Yeah.
them. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So what time, like what does the night before, other than doing a podcast, what does a night before, a 2 week tour typically like entail? Like what do you guys, like how do you mentally prepare for a tour like this?
For me, it's like the day before Christmas. I don't sleep very well. I do a lot of laundry and pack because I'm a last minute packer. Got Lutter has his list, so he goes through his whole list. He's got a whole thing. He's a planner. This
Yeah.
man, he does our 10-10s, our itineraries, and he makes sure everything's all set up for us. And like everybody's got their methods. Tom, Jack, Brett, and Church all live in the same house. So this is going to be the first, I guess, big run with them all together. So we can count on them for being there on time, even though we have to drag them out from bed to the bus and then they just go back to sleep on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The band has a bunch of kind of a vast array of personalities, really.
Yeah.
And I would say today you are speaking to 2 of the more chaotic people in the band. So yeah, I'm like Destiny. I'm probably not going to sleep. I mean, we're drinking some beers, doing a podcast.
Hey,
Like,
my birthday's Saturday, so we're
Yeah.
easing into the week.
so for me, it's like, and I'm newer on the touring thing too. So I'm like, kind of just throwing a bunch of crap in a bag and hoping it works.
Yeah,
and then like Letter, I'm pretty sure he has like a 200 item checklist.
Yeah,
he does
literally,
before every
just
tour. So he's like on the other extreme.
Yeah.
Of it. But honestly, that's what makes it beautiful. And one of the things that makes it beautiful is we do all we're not. It's not 8 of the same people. Like,
Right.
It's 8 very individual people.
Yeah, and I'm an old salty road dog. I've been touring, gosh, for 30 years.
What are you, 29?
Yeah. It came out of my mother with my saxophone. Just very, very, very hard birth for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys keep telling me to tell everybody I'm 33. Like, well, that it makes sense because all the 20-year-old dudes like to hit on me. It's really really weird. I'm like, yeah, we can't have that.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's
I
wonderful as
got
a
10
woman.
years. Yeah, I got 10 years on these guys, but also the 10 years of experience. I've earned it. I'm very happy with my life journey. I've toured internationally. I've played with superstars and the big acts on huge stages. And then I come down and I found these guys and they just accepted me and I'm part of their tribe. So they're my family. They really did just adopt me and Danny fits right in. So it's really crazy. We
So,
just
yeah, out of the eight of you then on tour, who probably would you say sleeps the best and who is the worst sleeper?
So Brett sleeps in the van a
Brett
lot.
sleeps the
He
most.
sleeps the
I don't know about the
most.
best.
He's not the best. And I don't know. I do get a little princess treatment because I guess because I'm old. But I get beds more than the guys. But I don't mind sharing a bed or sleeping on the cot if that's what it comes down to because we're still kind of in the in between phase. Here recently, we have been getting more hotel rooms and Airbnbs where everybody gets a bed. So we're moving up. We're not all sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
So
I must not be a horrible sleeper because Destiny gets the bed and then she's like, Danny, it's a queen.
come
You
on,
can
it's a
share it
queen.
with
Let's,
me. So I'm like,
yeah,
yes.
you can be Little Spoon today.
Yeah.
I really think
Although I,
yeah, that's kind of the measure of though, you're right, Destiny, like the measure of how where you're at as a band is
Yeah,
where you end up sleeping the night after that show, like
yeah. Because
whether it's on the floor.
I play with a big project, the Teddy Afro Abugida, and they're rock star level. I get paid really good for the shows, and everybody gets their own hotel room with their own king size bed. So that's goals. So we got Sneezy. We're working that way.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're happy when we get our own beds at night, but we don't mind doubling up. I mean, like I said, we're family, and
Yeah.
everybody understands that there's a level of struggle that you have to do in order to overcome. And when you do this, they're still young road dogs, so they're still working this journey. Like I've done this up and down the ladder a few times, but it's always the same kind of thing. And whoever can tough it out at this level usually has a lot better success when they're at the bigger level, when they get their actual comforts met.
So I guess maybe an outsider might say, man, a tour of Colorado in December. What
Yeah, it's ski
is
season.
what is weather like? What do we, like what is your backup plan? Like what does that all entail when you have like winter weather? I mean, and you're trying to travel from place to place.
We roll
Blankets
through
and
it.
coats and covers and
Extra batteries.
yeah.
Oh,
Honestly,
chains.
shout out to Jack. Like, I really think this whole operation would fall apart if we didn't have Jack because
Oh man,
he's so
he's our action figure.
he's so meticulous about just keeping the trailer organized, making sure the van stays clean.
Making the trailers
making sure there's-
balanced so they don't slip and slide on the road.
making sure we have batteries and charging cables and like
socks and chains for the tires.
Yeah.
He takes care of the van maintenance, make sure it gets to the shop and back.
we did a band hang meeting listening party thing yesterday, and Jack pulled out like 7 winter coats, and he's like, Danny, take one.
Yeah,
He's like, I already have one. He's like, I don't care, take one.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that kind of like that. It's so understated. You don't see. I mean, obviously Jack on stage is also amazing too, but the
Yeah.
off stage Jack is people don't see what
the
he's
glue.
doing, and it's like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't have this guy, the trailer would be falling off the van halfway up the mountain.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we would have slid down some things because we like last time we were in Colorado, the van was slippery. This is our first time on tour with this big trailer, I think.
Okay.
So we kind of hope for snow because it's ski season, and that means that the clubs will be packed out, and we're gonna have big audiences.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of hope there's no snow because
We want to get there.
white knuckle rides up the mountains.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a fun time. It's never a fun time.
Right. The snow isn't just the color of your knuckles, right?
No.
Yeah.
And it's a different snow than we get down in Chicago. It's a different kind of cold up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I must say, I got to speak to Jack at length at the Ramble Festival, which is a good segue for let's talk about the Ramble Festival. That's how I got turned on to you guys. That happened, what, Columbus Day
2 years
weekend
ago.
in October at Camp Ramblewood in
Yeah.
Darlington, Maryland. And you guys really, I mean, not only did you play a part in it, but you really kind of put your stamp on it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that weekend, Destiny, like what that weekend meant to you.
So our first time at Ramble was 2 years ago,
Right.
and whenever we were finished with that fest, it put a mark on our hearts, and all the stuff that Brick does for the festival and how he put it together. It's just so. It's one of the sexiest festivals I've ever been to because not only do the bands get housed in this little campsite, but the musicians get to interact with each other with bands from all over America. And not only do they get to interact with each other on and off stage, but the fans get a chance to hang out with us when we're camping and hanging out together. And the bands get to do this mashup thing in the barn. And Brick just picks two random bands, pulls them out of a hat. I don't know how he chooses, but puts them together. And then magic happens. We were with Kendall Street Company last year. And the way the lead singer described it was it's like a blind date that turned into an orgy. And that's the year I met Dogs in a Pile. I got to jam out with them, and all the stages are open to people just coming up, and it's a collaboration, and it's a coming together of musical minds, and that's the way Brick wants it. And this year, gosh, what was the name of the band we were with? I feel so bad not
Fireside
remembering.
Collective.
Yes, the Fireside Collective. We
Yep.
were just talking about them yesterday. Those guys were so nice.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what to expect, and they didn't know what to expect, just like with Kendall Street. And we literally met at sound check and started going over songs. And when we started playing together, like everybody was just up on the stage the whole time. We just kind of rotated out and just everybody took turns. And you do all the things you learn in kindergarten on a very adult level. And it makes music kind of magical. Again, it brings back that why did you first start playing music? And it's to do things like this.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's, when you hear people say music is like the universal language, that right
It's
there
not
is
a
proof of
lie.
it, right? I mean,
Yeah. You don't have to speak any kind of language. You go anywhere in the world and pull out a piano or pull out a saxophone or guitar and just start playing. Everybody's going to be connected to you instantly.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Destiny, why the saxophone? Of all the musical instruments, why the saxophone?
I don't have a real answer. My dad would have told you that I saw a street performer as a toddler and asked him for a saxophone every year after that. When I was 8, my dad's like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'll buy you a saxophone tomorrow. Or when you're 16, I'll buy you a car. So I got gypped out of a car. But I saw the car he bought my sister, and that piece of junk, my saxophone, it equated, same cost. But yeah, it would have fallen apart a long time ago. So that
That's
saxophone has taken me around the world, and yeah, it's just I don't know why. I've always been drawn to it, and it's the first instrument I picked up, and it's the one I've been playing now for 34 years, 34 years. Yeah.
wow.
So
And Danny, what about you? What made you get into the instrument that you play?
Yeah, so I play piano, and like it's funny because like the cliche answer is the instrument chooses you, which like really is
yeah,
true.
really
It
just
really is true. The kind of funny practical answer is the piano was in the middle of the house.
yeah.
And like, in I played violin a little bit growing up, but I didn't love it. I played guitar on and off. I still play a little bit. I played trombone in band in like sixth grade through high school. The thing about all those instruments is you would put them in a case, and once they were in a case, you forgot about it. But the piano was in the middle of the house, open, ready to play anytime. So it was just, I think especially in middle school, going into high school, it was like you just get home from school. I would set my backpack down and just walk to the piano, and it was already ready for me to play. I didn't have to do any setup, just start playing. And um, then I think what cemented the deal was as I got into high school, as I got good at piano, it my social life also improved a bunch because if you're the dude who can play a lot of cool stuff on piano and you hang out in the choir room after school, you don't have a problem finding a prom date.
Finding love.
The dude rock stars always get it.
Yeah.
I was a nerd. Nobody wanted to be my friend.
Aw. I want to be your friend
But
now.
we're friends now. So I blossomed at I moved to Chicago when I turned 27, and the moment I landed, my social life it's totally brand new life.
Yeah, I've only visited Chicago twice, and one
Oh
of the
man, you got to
times
come
was
back.
last September for the Pearl Jam show, which was amazing. The United Center is a good spot for a concert. Like I was surprised, like how good the acoustics were for like an arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pad it out really nice because they do have a lot of musical shows there.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. But yeah, so let's get to the songwriting in a second. So, um, do you guys typically write your like music on piano, guitar? Like, does someone bring a song to the group? Like, how does that whole collaboration work with 8 members in a band?
So I don't. They kind of get together and they would make food and do substances and come together with songs. Before I joined the band, the last time we had a writers retreat, we secluded ourselves for an entire week and just cooked food. And we spent 6 hours a day, 3 hours per person, working on tunes. And in your 3 hours, you could work on whatever you want, and you could explain it to the band, and then everybody listened, everybody contributed, and then we fleshed something out. And then the next person went, we did lunch, and then the next person went for the evening session. And then late night, the guys would stay up. I did the old lady thing. I went to bed, and then they'd stay up and write other stuff and wake up in the morning and be like, oh, we got something new. Check this out. And then we'd all get excited and kind of rehash what we did the day before and then start over again. And this last album, we have 11 songs. I think we ended up writing 12 or and working on a couple, but sometimes they don't. Everything that we write doesn't always get fleshed out completely. So you put it on the shelf and then hope it comes around to the next circulation. This year, we just finished that. We just got an album put together with that group of songs. We've been playing them all summer long. And this year we have January off, so the first couple of weeks we get to ourselves. The second set of weeks we're gonna be together writing a new album. So kind of hoping to keep that going and do it kind of the same way because it was really effective.
Danny, you have any?
'Cause
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't been a part of the writing experience yet. I've written a lot of music on my own, and just to kind of touch on what you said, is it like on piano or guitar? Like, if you write music, the truth is like any medium can work, and sometimes you have to switch mediums to get something to come out. You know, as a piano player primarily, sometimes I sit down at the piano and I don't like the way it sounds. So I go on a walk with a guitar and I sit in the park, and even though I'm way better at piano than I am at guitar, like just because you need life to inspire the music, right?
Change of scenery.
You need to change the scenery sometimes. But what I will say about the band is, if you were a fly on the wall in the van with us, when we're all awake and not delirious from like being in the van for 1,000 hours, we are singing and making up songs and like almost singing ourselves into hysterics.
Yeah.
Because we'll just like, somebody will say something silly and then somebody else will like sing it, and then somebody will sing like a response line to it, and harmonies are popping out of nowhere, and it's like, it's hilarious and it's fun. And so I think when you get a bunch of spontaneous, open-hearted people together and just like open to what the music is gonna say to us and like letting it come out, it's when you get really amazing songs.
I think that speaks a lot to the brotherhood of the band too. The fact
Yeah.
that they've all been friends since elementary school.
Right.
So they naturally do this like brothers. They'll pick on each other, and we all pick on each other, and we have fun with it. And like we're not hurting each other's feelings, but we're coming up with these goofy idioms and fun nicknames. Danny's got like 20 nicknames.
Yeah. I have also as many nicknames as days I've been in the band.
Right. His first one was Danny Arpeggio Bauer.
Because of that stuff.
Yeah. It's good. It's really good fun, and the band really is kind of like the Muppet Band, the Electric Mayhem, because all these guys have Muppet energy, and they're not afraid to express it. somebody will wake up from being dead asleep and they'll say something absolutely unhinged in the back, and then usually it's Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the band will start up again, making weird noises together, and just being goofballs and being comfortable with each other, being goofballs. Nobody's judging anybody. Our van is our cone of non-judgment zone. Like we can say whatever we want, we can voice whatever opinions we want, and um, we're not allowed to say it's a bad idea. There's no bad ideas.
So how do you balance then the art with the commodity? Meaning like, obviously, yeah, like we want to have fun, we want to like write music, we want to do all this, but like how do you also then balance like the business side of it?
Everybody in the band has their roles for what they do. Like people that handle the money, people that handle the itineraries and hotel bookings, people that handle being the ambassador and going out to jams whenever we're in town. Because a lot of the guys in the band, as extroverted as they look on stage, they like their solitary at home. Like they'll cuddle and have movie night instead of going out. I'm like, we should go network. We should go hang out and meet people and talk to the industry and glad hand and do what you got to do to keep those connections alive. And then, gosh, there's so many roles on the business end, and that's why we got a good management team.
Yeah.
We hired out. They handle a lot of the more tedious things, routing and booking the gigs. And the band used to do that when I first joined. The band did that all themselves. We lost a manager in the middle of my first tour, and we got a new manager a couple months later down the road. But in the interim, the guys had to handle everything themselves, and everybody had their little piece of action, and they put it all in the Google calendars and our WhatsApp and our little text threads, and everybody communicated. And that's the thing, is everybody talks to everybody all the time.
Yeah. And I also think that the concept of business doesn't cross at least my mind. I think
We don't
anyone's
think about
mind
it too much.
while we're on stage, like not thinking about, I don't know, how much money we're making, or if like the artistic choice I'm making is good for the business. I think that we all are committed to expressing ourselves fully on stage, and like
We get to be ourselves.
both as an individual, and then how, it's like a lot of shows I'm really far away from Destiny, and so like I'm maybe with Lutter and Coz, and I'm like, connecting with them and creating moments with them. But then we did a show recently where I was right next to Destiny. It was like, oh, we get to like express in new ways. We get to create new moments here, and it's like there's not like really a business. It's almost like there's two minds about it.
Absolutely.
And we, like Destiny was saying, people are good at different things. Lutter is a really great checklist guy, so he does checklisty kind of things. Me and Destiny are more like that. She calls herself the ambassador. I'm good at like explaining music concepts simply, and like, so I'm good at like talking with the band about music. I'm both my parents are teachers. I've been a teacher on and off forever. So yeah, it's kind of like it's two hats, and you wear them when you wear them.
Yeah.
When I saw you guys live at Ramble, the one thing that really stood out to me is that you all, even though someone else was singing, you all, like other members were mouthing the words. And that's a real testament, because you do, like, you all are bought in, like you buy into, like, and that is like, you don't see a lot of bands do that. And that was one of the things that I noticed right away. So that's a
It's
testament to you guys.
For me, when I first joined the band, the first night I played with them, the very first time ever, I went home and these songs get stuck in your head. That's how Brian, whenever Brian was talking about how when he first met Sneezy, he was one of like three people in the audience. And he said he went home and couldn't get Sneezy music out of his head. He goes, this is something very special. And I know some of our songs are silly. We have a lot of serious songs they're not serious on the surface, but when you start digging into the lyrics, it's a lot more.
They're like very hopeful and like inspirational.
Yeah, it's optimism. It's
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
we want in life and everything we want to project to the people that we play with. Brett says all the time, it's not a stage, it's a living room, and we want to invite the audience to be a part of what we're doing, because when we play together, that's what it is. We're playing for each other before we play for the audience, and they get to experience that and be part of that with us. But at the same time, we are performing for the crowd.
Mhm.
Bright colors, lots of energy, good
Yeah, so
textures in the music.
yeah, talk about that. Talk about the stage props. Talk about the bright, like for someone who's never seen you live before, what are they expecting to when they come to a Sneezy show?
The first time when I first joined the band, we didn't have a lot of stage props, and this is kind of a hilarious perspective of it because the first time Jack brought all this stuff, it was his idea. He's like, "We need to dress it up. I'm tired of black sands. It's boring," and he started bringing all this what I looked at as trash onto the stage, and I'm like, "This is it's so ghetto." My whole thought was like, "This looks so terrible." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep my inside thoughts, my inside thoughts. He's got a vision, and I want to respect that. And he started decorating things up. We put scarves on the stands, and we did all of this stuff. And we performed, and I saw the photographs from it, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks fantastic. I'm like, nobody's looking at this stuff up close. And some of our things are donated to us. Some of them we've just kind of acquired on the road. And
Jack's a scavenging wizard
Jack,
too.
oh my God, he finds the coolest stuff.
Every time I show up to their house, Jack has like
Brand new stuff.
just like toys and props. I'm like, "Where'd you get these?" And he gives me a cryptic answer, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, keep your secrets."
Yeah, he does estate sales. I found this out.
Oh,
He'll just go
gotcha.
and-
Yeah.
So he'll get all these like old lady scarves.
Don't tell them.
No, it's great.
Yeah, as the newest member in the band, I joined 4 months ago. Like the stage props that like were already like way more established, and it's
Yeah.
like
They're all-
I imagine they've been upgraded a bunch since, and they've even upgraded since then. I had this like toy dragon hat that's been like added to the stage prop set now too. We played in Cincinnati, where I'm from, the other day, and my mom said, like, beyond the music, she's like, there was so much to look at. She was like, it was like I'd be looking at something, be like, whoa, that's cool. And I knew there were like 4 other cool, exciting things to look at a given moment. I'll share this because it's just you ask about the stage show, because it is hard to just explain.
What to expect?
Yeah. So I joined in August, and I'm basically went from, I got a cold call more or less saying, "Hey, Sneezy needs a keyboard player. Can you show up and do this?"
This guy learned a whole set of music in less than 12 hours and then performed with us.
Like a day later, yeah.
And everybody's first impression was him playing the solo, hitting the sustain, and then running
that's the story.
around the
Yeah,
room
yeah.
and coming back.
Yeah. It was the second show I did with Sneezy. I had known everybody about 3 days at this point.
Yeah.
And I played a solo, and at the end of my solo, I remember thinking to myself, if these people were my best friends, these essentially strangers, if they were my best friend, here's how I would want to end my solo. I would want to have a note and go run around and like high five and just like go crazy. And I said, well, I'm gonna do that because like if this is gonna work, they're gonna have to be my best friends.
Yeah.
Right? So I might as well just like
Sure.
cut to the chase right away and just like be myself as fully as I can be. And then they were like, that was amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I think this is gonna be a nice relationship.
Yeah, we all secretly went to him one by one. We're like, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but you're in, buddy.
Yeah.
If it's up to me, it's
I
you're in.
got 8 out of 8. I can't speak for the rest of the band, but I think you're a really great fit. I think by the time the 7th person came up to me, I'm like, okay.
I won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So are we bringing like any new prop? I'm assuming then from what you said about Jack, then for the New Year's Eve show with Big Something, that's a big show.
I'm sure there'll be new. I mean, there's already new props since Ramble. Like I said,
Okay.
like I have this like dragon. It's like a red dragon hat that we made a stage prop, and sometimes we put on, and even like I think the mic stands have leveled up recently,
Yeah.
and
Jack's painted them.
yeah.
So they're neon. They glow in the black lights.
I think there's a new prop almost every run,
Yeah.
and sometimes more. Yeah.
I've got a special one for the New Year show.
Oh
one of our new songs.
yeah. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. Yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah,
and
everybody
Destiny, I love
come to the show.
your hat that you have your Leon Russell note to.
Yeah,
Talk about
my
that.
top hat.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, so I one of my friends, I got tired. He got tired of me talking about this hat. It's from American Hat Fitters. It's a company online, and I just pointed it out, and he goes, "You know what? For your birthday, I guess this is, gosh, 3 years ago now.
Okay.
He gave me a coupon, and basically paid for the hat. And I ordered it. I opened the box, and I saw this voodoo eye looking back at me. And I basically, he said, the hat said, "My name is Cyrus." And I'm like, holy cow, Cyrus. I don't name my things. My saxophone is a pony, my jam pony. It's no names, just it's this is a designation. But this thing came with a name, and I put it on and I wore it for the first few shows. And every festival, every show that I've went to with him since I've gotten it, I add something else to it. And if my hat doesn't like the prop or whatever, I put in a card or different things, it'll reject it. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's not going back on there. And I'll find something new. And it's created a particular vibe. And I'm like, okay, now I kind of understand this guy's aesthetic. And I just add more things similar to that vibe, and it hasn't been rejected since. So it's kind of it's its own personality. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, like I think
The
Slash or Tom
outfits.
Petty would be happy. Like they'd be
Yeah.
very
Leon Russell and everybody.
and
Yeah.
Leon, yeah.
My Oklahoma homies.
So yeah, we are very excited because obviously Big Something played at Ramble. Is that kind of how this New Year's Eve gig kind of happened, or
So Big Something is under the umbrella of our new agents,
yeah,
our company that we book through, and I guess everybody's been talking about it. We've worked with Big Something in the past, and played shows with them. We did one in Chicago at the Chop Shop, and it went really well. We got Casey up to play some saxophone with us, and Iwi, he played his Iwi, and inspired me. I have an Iwi, and it inspired me to actually start busting it out and playing it a little bit more. I take it in the van and play it on tour. It is not an easy instrument. I give him all the props in the world because he makes that thing sound like it's so easy to play. It's not like the saxophone at all. But yeah, since then we've run into each other. We were at Mountain Music Fest together, and those guys are they're so nice. We love them so much. And I know we're not super close with them yet, but we're gonna be BFFs by the time,
By New Year's
by New
Eve.
Year's Eve.
so talk about the run with Dogs in a Pile because those guys are great too. I mean, talk about like, either a conversation that you had or just a moment that you'll never forget.
I can go first.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, like, not that we're not focused on the music because we do think playing great music is really important, but I think we focus on the visual aspect and the showmanship and the theatrical aspect way more than they do. But they focus way more on like they're playing, like they were like learning new music all the time and playing new music
Yeah.
and like opening stuff up. And I think that by the end they were more visual, and I think we were, I think after every show me and Tom and Austin were in the back like having a rhythm section powwow. It's like, okay, what can we take from them, what can we do better? And I think like both bands really got way better in different ways just from like spending time with each other. And then beyond the band, like a lot of their fans really loved us, and a lot of their fans that we would come up to us, it was cool. It's a testament to their fan base that I talked to so many people who were like, I got here early because Dogs in a Pile is so good. I knew the opener must be good, and you guys blew me away. I'm a fan now. And that's just like a testament to them and to the scene and the people, and like the people who are in this greater community, I guess the jam band community, if that's what you want to call it, like really love music, right? Like really are passionate about like keeping live music incredible. And that was an awesome experience.
Well, and it's nice too because it's nice that the jam community is open to bands that aren't necessarily jammy. Like you
Yeah,
guys, like Andy Frasco, like like I'm trying to think of other bands that are, on the fringe but like have been welcomed. And I think that is like you're right, it is a testament to them and to like the fans of the music.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys, like, you're doing Jam Cruise this next year. Like, talk about
Dude, oh my
that. Like,
gosh, yeah.
how excited you guys have to be and the
I don't know what to
lineup that's
say.
on. I
I
mean, it's
don't, yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Brett and Austin Letter and Austin Koziel and Church, they all went out on the boat a few years ago. And they've been just going on and on about how great it is. And they're just like, oh, you guys don't even know what you're in for, this, that, and the other. Um, yeah, I just don't know what to say about it.
I'll say this. 10 years ago, when I lived in Columbus, Ohio, I had a band that did all Snarky Puppy music. And we were just like a Snarky
Yeah.
Puppy cover band. And
Wow.
I was obsessed. And
They're so good.
and they're on the boat,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, like this is really cool. And on top of that, I've essentially never been international. I've been to Niagara Falls once, that barely
That kind of
counts.
doesn't really
Yeah,
count.
yeah, yeah. And I've always said that I wanted music to be the thing to take me international. And it was like I had opportunities to maybe like go to, but I had like a week where I didn't have any gigs. It's like I could just go to France or whatever. But like I was like, no, I really want music to be the thing, the reason I leave the States.
Get paid to go.
Yeah, exactly. Get paid to go, and Jam Cruise will be that for me.
Yeah.
So it's like Sneezy, in so many ways, is a dream come true for me, and like Jam Cruise is just like another
Yeah, one more step.
one more step of
Yeah.
that dream come true. So, yeah, I'm just I suppose it's good that we already never sleep because we have to
Yeah.
practice to not sleep for a whole week while we're on Jam Cruise.
Yeah, like I said, crusty club.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah. Not sleep,
take-
not shower, not take our instruments off. Just
Yeah.
go.
We gotta get
go
you
crazy.
a guitar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 If anybody watching wants to donate a guitar to the band,
Yeah,
sneezymusic.com.
You have to ask Natalie, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is she gonna be on the boat?
I don't know. I'll take her guitar.
Oh my goodness!
Ah, maybe,
Just
yeah.
imagine Salt messing it up.
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
on
yeah.
the deck.
So, have either of you been on a cruise before?
I've been on seafaring vessels, but not a cruise ship, which is basically a city on the water. And when I was younger, I got, I guess Disney Cruises wanted me to be part of their cruise ship team. I saw, and Carnival Cruise, as a musician, to do cruise ship work, and you're out 6 months at a time. And I know so many people that did it, but I'm like, I can't do that. I like the land too much. I like my freedom to leave when I want.
Yeah. I did 8 weeks on a riverboat in 2019 when I first moved to Chicago.
I've done
But
riverboat gigs. Those
yeah,
are
it
fun.
was went up and down between New Orleans and Nashville, and that was fun. But that was for retirees who want to do a riverboat cruise. That wasn't Jam Cruise.
Yeah.
That was like
Nobody's
this is
there for
not
the
just
music.
like this is not Margaritaville. This
Yeah.
is like Jam Cruise.
Yacht rock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, all
you
the
you
people.
performed on a riverboat cruise?
Yeah, it was the American Queen Steamboat Company.
Yeah.
We had it's actually, I mean, it was a sweet gig, especially I had just moved to Chicago, and so I didn't have any friends or colleagues, or I was like playing some gigs here and there, but I was like I hadn't been able to dip my foot in. And it's funny, I did 4 weeks in November and then 4 weeks in January, and then I remember I got back in February and I was like, okay, what's next? And then COVID happened, so it was kind of like a crazy time. But
Life changes.
yeah. That was cool, but it was different. It was like we were playing show tunes every night. We weren't a band. We weren't the reason people were coming, or one of the reasons people were coming. It was like,
Your entertainment.
yeah.
So you had accommodations, they fed you, like all that? Or
Yeah. I mean, we slept under the boat. Like, we didn't have sexy rooms we slept in, but we had a place to sleep. The cool thing about that gig was we got fed the same thing as the guests, so we got fed really well. And another thing that actually ended up being a perk was they had a strict no drinking policy, which, like, on one hand, it's like, oh, that sucks. But on the other hand, that meant that I walked away with all the money that I was promised because I didn't drink my paycheck away.
Yeah, that happens a lot in this industry. believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Oh, and on those ocean liner cruises, on a lot of them, they'll give you like a special band credit card that you can use on the boat bar for drinks, and they give you like a huge discount But then there's this is a whole sidetrack, but there's a
Wow.
whole culture of like buying rounds. So like a gin and tonic might be $1, but you buy a round for the crew. So
20
you,
people.
20 of them or 30 of them, and you're just swiping, and then people would actually end their contract owing the cruise ship money and then re-up their contract, and it's I mean, you could do a cruise ships exposed. Like that's a different podcast.
Next week. Next
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
I'm Dr. Phil.
Oh my goodness.
Danny, tell us about the cruise line.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Where do we go from there?
Yeah.
I don't know. You said you slept under the boat, and I imagined you're like in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's not a good place to
Yeah.
sleep. Sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about the album. So we have a new album basically
Yes.
in the books. It'll be when it's released. But the 3 previous albums that you guys put out, your self-titled album in 2016, and then in 2019, we put out an album called 440 West Cook. And you told me what it was before we started recording, but tell the audience why that album is called what it is.
I want to say it's Austin Lutter's house. It could be Jack's house. It's one of the boys in the band's house. They're gonna, like I said, they're gonna like razz me for not remembering who's. But the fun fact about that is the day that album dropped, and it released on Spotify or all the streaming services or whatever, that house was demolished, and I think they were all there to watch it happen.
Wow.
So
Sneezy lore. I love sneezy lore.
me too.
Yeah,
I need to
that's
pay more
crazy.
attention to these stories and not like in the van.
Or hopefully they tell you at like a reasonable time of day and not at, 4 in the morning after a bottle of Jameson, right?
Yeah.
I get most of the lore in the van on the way to places. The guys will tell stories, and everybody swaps road stories because you're in the van. I think our longest trips are like 17 hours when we deadhead from.
I mean, even just we're doing 8 hours tomorrow just to get to Omaha, and then 8 hours Wednesday, and then
so
gig
16
Thursday.
hours.
And that's 8 hours is a lie. That's 8 hours with a real car. It's going to be more like
10.
Yeah.
We got buffer time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about, well, not the worst thing, but it is disappointing to me that like fans and like, people that come to the shows and stuff, like they expect that you're going to hang out after the show.
Yeah.
And like they don't realize like, guys, I just was on the road for 10 hours or 8 hours, or I just want to sleep, like and that's hard for a band to like relay that because you want to be smiles, you want to be like receptive to everything, but at the same time, you also like need to take care of yourself too, right?
We have a pretty good policy. A lot of times, some of our fans will end up having us be housed with them. And we have our 1 or 2 guys that okay, we can stay up for 24 hours. This is our thing. We'll sleep in the van tomorrow. It's fine. And sometimes that's me. And sometimes it's somebody else. But they'll sit and chit chat and hang out with the fans while everybody gets a really good rest. Or sometimes we all just crash out, and then they'll have breakfast for us, and we'll make sure we're as social as much as we can be.
Yeah, because we
do love fans.
I think especially you and I are very extroverted, so we like talking to people and stuff. But yeah, I'll say another thing that's tough that we've talked about is like sometimes people are bummed when you don't remember them.
Yeah,
and like they don't realize it's like there's 8 of us on stage, and there's 100 or 1,000 of you out there, and like you were watching us, you heard our names get repeated, and like after the show you said one thing to me and then 20 other people, and like, so anybody ever watching this, if a band member doesn't know your name, that's not personal.
It's really not. We're on like
we're
2 hours of sleep.
We're capable of knowing so many names at so many times,
I don't even know my name most of the time.
Yeah. Restiny?
Oh yeah, I wish it was Restiny. I could use some rest.
Speaking of rest, right?
Yeah.
We'll sleep when we're dead. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So I want to know like what is Destiny like for someone who has played for as long as you have and has, toured as long as you have and been everywhere. You, like what's one of the favorite cities or is there a favorite city or a venue that you like to play or that you really
For
look forward to when you see that on the calendar? You're like, "Oh man, like I can't wait to be back."
So for me, Chicago, like I can't wait to be back playing in Chicago because we're out so much that we never really get to play when we're at home. I hit the local jam scene. I'll hang out with my homies, but it's not the same as when your band gets the homecoming gig. Um, and that's for every band I've ever played in across the board. When I lived in Tulsa, it was every band that I played in Tulsa. When you came home to your hometown, you got to play a gig there versus being out on the road. It's a magical feeling because at some point, especially with the schedule that I had, at some point that you're not going to be able to come home so often, and you're going to be out for months at a time, or you're on the road. I did a USO tour, and I was in Europe for 3 months, and I did Germany and Italy, and we got home, and I was America. There's creature comforts here. I can't say it's the best country in the world because there's still countries I haven't seen. I mean, I've been to a lot of great places, but for like familiarity and the creature comforts, Chicago for me is probably one of the best cities in the world. You got all the food. There's something to do every single night if you want to go out and play music, or if you want to just go out and just explore the city. Like,
Well, and that last show we did at the Chop Shop was just like
oh, it's insane.
the love in the air was just so.
It's palpable. Like you could grab it from the
Yeah,
audience and
yeah.
like hold on to it. It
Yeah.
was, oh.
It's amazing. There's so many, like, I'm just trying to pick a favorite, even in just these 4 months in the band. It's like, well, that one was awesome. That one was
Yeah.
awesome. That one was awesome. Like,
Ramblefest, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah, I was. The band loves to rub it in that I miss Ramble Fest. That's like their favorite thing.
It's a great fest.
yeah,
it
yeah.
really is.
Before joining Sneezy, I tallied up the number of states I had performed music in, and I think it was 15. And now it's up to almost 25.
Oh, wow.
And that's awesome. So, kind of to flip your question on the head, I'm excited when we go out, and I'm like, oh, I get to
New place.
I haven't put my map up yet, but probably put up on one of these walls and just like, somehow mark off all the states I played in because I want to play music in all 50 states.
Yeah.
And I fortunately already have Hawaii knocked off.
See,
so
I don't have Hawaii.
Probably the
That's
hardest
my
one.
one.
So the second hardest would be Alaska, probably.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been amazing. It's even just it's cool. We're just so grateful. Like even when we show up somewhere and when they honored our rider.
Oh, yeah. When they
Which
feed
is
us.
we don't have a fancy rider. It's like energy drinks and carrots and beer. It's like almost nothing. But we show up and they have it. We're like, yes, this is the best venue ever.
Oh, we played this one venue, and it's up the East Coast. They had jardinera in their charcuterie board, and we're like, "What?" And the guy's like, "I know you guys are from Chicago. You'd appreciate this."
Yeah.
So, like, you get those little expectations every once in a while. You're like, "Oh."
Is that what
it's
inspired
like,
Interlude?
No, it's the interlude's a song about pizza. It's
I just know
yeah.
there's the line about jardinera, right?
Yeah, it's Chicago, the Chicago toppings and things
I
you put on a
see, I
pizza.
see. Yeah.
So one of our new songs, it's an interlude song. It's put the dough in because we're putting our time in and we're creating something. But then the song's about pizza. It's essentially about
it's
pizza.
fun. It's very fun.
That's fun. So is there any are there any like double entendres then in the
Oh
song?
yeah,
Big time.
pretty much.
Yeah. Slide it in the grease.
Slide it in the
Destiny
grease.
says it in a very sexual voice like 10 times. And it's hilarious.
And people are like, "What's that song where you slide it in the crease?" And I'm like, "Grease."
We could do a whole podcast on misheard sneezing lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our favorite. Some of our favorite topics of conversation.
Yeah.
This new album's gonna have a few of those.
Yeah.
So
The misheard sneezy lyrics, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I sing all the words wrong anyway for most of the songs.
It's your fault.
It's me.
So who did you get to work with then with this new album? And is this the same producer that you've worked with in the past?
So we work in Asheville, North Carolina with Josh Blake at Echo Mountain. We've worked with him. I think this is our third project with him. and we had the Echo Mountain sessions, like kind of a spoof of the show that they had going on. They had the same setup, the same camera crew, and we recorded, was it 6 or 7 songs in one day, and just laid it in. And it's on YouTube, it's on our socials. But that was our first real experience with them. And then we recorded kind of a EP which had 3 songs.
The Flower Child.
The Flower Child EP.
Yeah.
And that was with our other saxophone player who passed away last year. And the only time we actually got to record together, but we got those down, and it's very special to us. And then we have this new album, which is going to be called Feed the Funk. And
yeah, and it's cool. It's 11 songs. We went down there for we recorded 4 full days, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We had 5 full days in the studio, and
then Friday, the hurricane hit Asheville.
we had the whole. That was a whole crazy thing. That was my first time in Asheville. And Asheville, I mean, Brian Asheville is like a second home for the band, and that was a trip. And the hurricane was crazy. We got stranded a little bit, and then we turned it into that good thing where we got to
help out a little bit
at the one stop. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew about that.
I knew that you guys got stuck down there because I met your manager, who's the guy that owns the Asheville Music Hall.
Brian.
Yes, correct. Yeah, he was telling me about it, obviously. So
yeah, it was crazy because on the Saturday when we were stranded, like we went down to the one stop. And
put the dough in.
Destiny, we put the dough in. Destiny got on stage right away and had her saxophone set up and was playing. And then the rest of us, we were like helping sell pizza, sell burgers and stuff. And then we started playing. Like there was a couple there that their wedding was that weekend, and obviously their initial plans got canceled, so they just got married in their Airbnb. And then they came down, and I have an extensive experience playing wedding gigs before doing Sneezy, so I got to get on the keyboard and play and sing all the popular wedding songs, and they got to we got to just, as a band, we found ourselves being the people with the resources in a disaster, and we jumped right. It's like, okay, well, how do we, like, we don't just want to sit here and just eat all this pizza and
sit in a dark house.
It's like, let's figure out how we can help, because I don't know, you're an asshole if you don't, I guess.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, there was no water, there's no electricity.
And for whatever reason, the one stop had water and electricity.
They had electricity, they didn't have water.
Oh, that's right.
We were passing out bottled water.
We had electricity, so we were able to make pizza, make music.
Yeah, it is.
And
crazy.
It was really humbling to see people. People waited in line for hours
to get a couple slices,
to buy one slice of pizza, and they were so full of gratitude. It was like, wow, like.
Yeah. And they're still reeling down there. It's not going to be taken care of overnight. They're still having, like, it's out of the news right now. So I mean,
everybody's forgotten, but it's, it's obviously better, but like,
it's still,
there's still, I mean, especially the small towns around Asheville. Like, I think some of those have just been totally wiped out, and nobody knows about it. So, yeah.
So sad. Like, just the pictures and the videos. I mean, it's just like those people. That's the last thing on their mind is having to deal with a hurricane, and it's
right.
There's
hurricanes in the mountains, like
yeah.
Oh, I could have handed you one of those.
Oh, you're good.
Like Sharknado or something,
Yeah, right. It was really, really weird, really wild.
It was just like the perfect kind of storm. It just went up the mountains, and then when it was raining a few days before. And then by the time the hurricane actually came through, it was already at flood level, so dams broke.
And that's what was really crazy about it is, like, all of the local people we were talking with, they were like,
it's not going to be a
hurricanes, we're too high in the mountains, there's no way. And then, it was all of a sudden, so.
Wiped out highways. It was crazy. We followed a tree cutter on the way, part of the way, and they were just cutting trees as we were going through.
There's definitely been, I guess a light note on it is, like, the band's been through several different traumas, other natural disasters.
We trauma bond.
and it was like, it was kind of funny. It was like, that was September, right?
Yeah.
So I was 6 weeks into being in the band, 7 weeks into being in the band, and it was like,
first real tour.
It was the first longer than just like a 2 or 3 day thing with the band. It was just like, to go through that for all the bad it was like we came out. It's like, wow, I really feel like Sneezy is family, and a lot of people will say that they're family. A lot of bands or companies, organizations will say they're family, but they don't really mean it. And after that, it was like, yeah, Sneezy is family. Like Sneezy's my family, and like when Sneezy says your family,
they mean it.
Your family.
You're
and
in.
It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. So I want to go back. I want to go back to when you guys are done with Ramble Festival. You had a tour then. I mean, you were like in the middle of a tour. You had what, 2 or 3 weeks after Ramble? You were still touring,
I think
right?
it was another week.
Another week, yeah.
No, just a week. Okay.
Because I flew down to meet him after Ramble.
Yeah.
Okay. But even just
like
that
3
week, I
gigs.
mean, like coming down from that festival and then having to play then just, I mean, normal gigs then that rest of the week, like how does the mindset change or did it not change at all?
A performance is a performance. We lay it out 100% on the stage every single time. Just venues change, the audiences change, but what we do is we keep it pretty, as chaotic as it looks. We are very consistent with how we put on a show.
And that's I mean, just coming in when the band already has scenes where there's 100+ people who are stoked to see the band. It's like that only happened because the band showed up and played their asses off when there was one person there, two people there, five people there, and
this band builds.
And so, you know, obviously when there's an electric crowd, that's amazing, and it brings it to another level. But even at the rehearsals, like we play like we really mean it.
Yeah, it's,
you know, we don't just phone it in. We're like,
it's our living room.
Yeah,
we play the same that we rehearse in our living room. So what we do in that living room is what we do on stage.
Yeah.
At more volume and more zhuzhing everything around.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a rule. It's like you don't know who's going to be in your audience. You don't know who you're going to meet. You could be playing to 3 people, but somebody from String Cheese Incident might be in the crowd. Somebody from Goose might be in the crowd.
And also somebody might be on the verge of homelessness, and this is like the one thing that like
keeps them together.
Keeps them together for one more day. You know, and it can go both ways, both right?
Sides, yeah, and our music definitely is a good, it's a healing place. We all come together and we use it to heal each other as well as, you know, the people that we play for.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're not smiling by the time you leave.
How much is the set list then? How much thought is put into that? You know, is there a rhyme or reason to it?
Right here. Yeah.
So I've recently taken on the mantle of writing out a set list, and at first it was really kind of overwhelming because I want to make sure that everybody in the band is happy, and then I want to make sure that the show has a flow that, like, I'm not getting too many solos in a row, or we're not wearing Jack out, or we're not, like, we're trying to keep everything.
Too many fast songs, too many slow songs, whatever, Yeah,
and getting that nice, it's really hard to get a balance, but I wrote out all of our original songs. We have 50 original songs, and then we also have probably 50 cover songs, maybe more cover songs. I haven't even started on that list yet, but I look at this master list and I'm like, okay, we haven't played this one in a while. We haven't played this one in a minute. We still got to catch him up. He only knows about half of our repertoire.
Yeah, there's songs I don't quite know yet,
but we drag him through. It's fun.
Yeah, and it's cool because Destiny, like, especially when we're on top of it, Destiny will write it in the van, like, an hour
hours before the show,
and then she'll read it off to all of us, and then we'll either be like, yeah, it's great, or usually it's just like, oh, what if we do this instead of this?
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Or what if we switch places for songs?
Yeah, or it's like, oh, Tom doesn't have a solo, so like, let's, or whatever it is. So, but it's fun because like, it's funny because especially like on the Dogs on a Pile run, we only had 45-minute sets.
Oh, it's so hard.
We were tearing our hair out because it'd be like, wait, but we're not doing this one. Wait, but we're not doing this one. It's like
we did this one yesterday, and I'm like, but it went so well.
Yeah. When every song is a banger,
it's really hard.
It's like hard to write a set list.
You can't choose
but
your children.
You also can't go wrong too. You know, so.
That's the one. We always go to South by every year in Austin, and that is always like one of the big complaints about bands. They're like, man, it's tough to play a 20-minute set, or it's tough to play
20 minutes,
30-minute set. Or,
I would cry. I wouldn't do it. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, but even like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, anything in that increment, like it is. Like I feel your pain, and I, like I never really understood like why that was a big deal. And then like understanding it now, like it completely makes sense to me. Like you just really don't like after 20 minutes, like you've really just kind of scratched the
Two
surface. Like
songs.
you
Yeah.
really need to
Well,
like
especially for like a new listener, because when you see a new band, like there's
right.
so much to take in, and like the judgment part of your brain can kick in, and it can take like 20 minutes for your walls to come down, and you go,
Yeah.
I really like them, and so yeah, long sets are fun.
Yeah. The music sampler platter sucks.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like for Sneezy, I think two songs. We'd be two songs, or we'll do like vibes
Yeah,
and a
like
Stevie
maybe
mashup.
3. Yeah,
That
yeah,
would
yeah,
be that's
yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Feed the Funk is about 20 minutes. It's not, but
Yeah, it could be.
it could be.
Yeah.
So for each of you, which song or which cover that you do as a band is your favorite that you guys do?
So you don't most people don't know this, but Church in the Morning is actually a cover, and I think it's a Chance the Rapper.
Yeah,
Which is
because of the
Chicago guy. So we were
connect.
rapping.
Yeah.
But I heard the original and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
We swagged it out, we slowed it down, we made it sexy, and then did our own thing for verses and the intro and outro. And I know Chance fans are probably like, boo, but we do our thing with it because that's what you do when you do a cover. You make the song your own. You play to your strengths and you make it sound like, oh, Sneezy wrote this song.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it was a cover until
Yeah.
a few months into the band, and so that's the obvious answer is
Yeah.
Church. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I did not know that. That's
Yeah. Fun
and it
Sneezy
is cool that
boy.
you did like a Chicago, like
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
some Chicago ties to it. Yeah.
Yeah. We do a Stevie Wonder mashup that's really fun.
Well, the one mashup that I just got hip to with the
The
Silk
Bruno
Sonic
Mars,
into
Silk Sonic,
Moving Up,
yeah.
and that's really fun. Yeah.
That's a
And
nice
not
mash-
moving up, move on up.
Move on.
Different song. Yeah.
Moving up's ours.
Yeah.
You're doing a Silk Sonic song.
Yeah. We're doing Fly,
Fly as
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
That we mash it all up, and then it goes into Nautilus, which is an old jazz standard. I don't want to say standard, but it's in there. And then into our song Sandwich.
Yeah.
So it's white bread, stack and cheese, devil lettuce, going ham. That's the sandwich.
That's a sandwich.
That's the sandwich.
So Halloween is where I heard that song live.
Oh,
Talk
you were at
about your
Hula?
talk about no, I didn't go to Hula, but like on Spotify, like
Yeah.
so talk about that experience because I hear Halloween is pretty amazing.
So that was absolutely insane. There's 30,000 people there. We were camped out in what they call the fishbowl, which is way, it's like a mile away from the stages. And we lucked out in our little spot. We had running water and electricity. But we had our little camp, and then you'd have to go all these places just to get to the stage. And there were so many people. We're usually there. We do Resonate, which is in the spring, which is only like 3,000 or 4,000 people. And it's the same campgrounds, but from that to Halloween, totally different vibe. It's like Alice in Wonderland comes to life. Like you're walking around like this crazy. It's a visual thing. There's so many artists and so much art, and I thought they had a huge sand sculpture in this one area by the lake. The lake itself, they do projections, and we lucked out. Paul really loves us. And he set us in a spot as soon as Pretty Lights was done with their set. Our set at the Spirit Lake stage was the only thing going on musically. So we started, and there was probably maybe 200 people there. And then the longer we played, the more it packed out. And then pretty soon you looked around the lake, and it was just all these people. All you could see was a sea of faces. And we dressed up our version of the Electric Mayhem. We got Muppety and jumped around on stage and just gave so much fun. We just gave it our all.
And so when is Halloween? Like, is it the weekend before Halloween or is it usually the weekend of Halloween?
Kind of around Halloween.
Okay.
It's kind of, I don't know if they have a set date every year, but it's within the week of Halloween.
Okay. And who does that festival then? Who runs that?
Is it String Cheese or is it, it's one of the bigger ones. They're going to be so mad. I don't know.
I wasn't there,
I want to
so
say,
I'm scot-free on this.
oh, man. Yeah, I know. My manager's gonna watch this later and be like, "Drew, you should have known." And I'm like, I don't really care.
Oh,
We're there. It's us. It's Sneezy.
I think
Sneezy's.
Destiny are probably the two most people who are just get in the van and show up.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
play.
I don't want to say this. I'm not really a fan of jam bands. I just they have. I know. They have a nice light show. I'm never on enough drugs. But like I love the culture. I love the vibes. It's like Halloween all the time. Everybody's wearing crazy things. You got ears and Renaissance fair people, and
Yeah.
it just you don't know what you're gonna walk into. I remember the first festival that Sneezy did together. We drove up, and Jack is our lively. He's the guy that dresses like insane from the get go. And we pulled up to our first festival, and I'm like, oh, Jack's people. Oh my gosh, he lives here. This is his stuff.
Yeah.
It fits in. And then we all ended up changing our outfits and styles a little bit to be a little bit more wild and fun to watch. It's the evolution since I've been in the band for 4 years has just been, you can see the steps, and we're getting deeper and deeper into it, and we're creating more and more of a story and a lore that surrounds the art. And that's like, the art is important, but the lore that surrounds it, that's what gets people more engaged, and that's what gets people to interact with you and then want to interact with you because they want to know your story. And they can sing your songs, but what's the story behind it?
right. Yeah, and it builds community too. Like just like the band, like
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about then. Yeah, so do we have a release date then for the new album, or are we just saying spring, summer? What can we give
Yeah,
a
I think our I think Roper has more of a vision, and so right now, so we did Austin is mixing the album, which is he's amazing at it.
So
It's
good.
really awesome, and it's cool because Tom's a great audio engineer too. It's amazing to have kind of from earlier talking about everybody's got their different skill
Yeah.
sets. Like it's cool that both of them are so skilled at that too. Destiny are more on the side of like, oh, make it sound more twinkly,
Yeah.
and then they're like, got it.
We're the story creators, the world builders.
But Austin finished his first pass of everything
In the van.
in the van. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Austin Lutter because we would be on
Dude.
a 9-hour drive and he would be working on the mix the entire 9 hours.
He's going
which
until
is
his
just like-
ears give out.
Yeah, yeah. But yesterday, we all went over to the house and we didn't get through everything because
We got 4 songs.
yeah, we just listened through stuff and everybody gave notes and we're like really trying to
Tweak it a little bit.
because like the songs are great. They already sound really good, but like we know that like with the right tender loving care, they can be that magic. It's
Yeah.
like Quincy Jones would when he was working on the Michael Jackson stuff, he would like really be particular about like getting the sound perfect, and then those became
Super
mega
hits.
So,
Yeah.
and I think we all feel strong enough about the music that it's like this music is really good, and so if we can get the recording exactly right, like that's how we can really help it touch as many people as it deserves to. So, and also I think we're planning on doing a couple singles as teasers.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying it.
I think we're hopeful that some of that's going to be ready early next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the guys, and hopefully we can give everybody a Christmas present. Fingers crossed that
Yeah.
we can drip one for Christmas.
Yeah.
I want to put sleigh bells on all of it.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so no definite plans yet. You'll just have to stay tuned and follow the band and go to sneezymusic.com and follow us on
Sneezymusic.com.
Instagram and Facebook and YouTube
Yeah.
to find out.
absolutely.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
What about tour dates then? Any festivals, any tour dates, anything that we can talk about?
Well, tons of stuff. I mean, obviously we talked about Jam Cruise and then Pigeons playing Ping Pong Tour in April.
Yeah.
4 shows opening for them. We're doing Chicago and Lexington and Grand Rapids. Is Milwaukee the 4th show? I can't remember.
It's on
you're
the
not the
list.
right person to ask.
It's
But
on the list.
I know I got 3 of them right. 'cause
Yeah, we got the
we're at
home circle.
Intersection in Grand Rapids, the Vic in Chicago.
Yeah.
and
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
love
the
the Vic.
Lexington Theater, but Lexington.
Yeah.
So that's going to be awesome. What's and it's cool to see like when you get to see growth in real time. It's cool because when we played with Dogs, we played at the intersection in the front room called the Stash,
Yeah.
which is
So fun.
like a 300 person room. I
Yeah.
think there are about 300 people there, and then the intersection is the back room, and it's 1,000 person room, and that's
Yeah.
where we're playing with pigeons.
It's a
So
big
it's like
theater.
and we were talking to people there like we're going to be back with pigeons in April, and the response was either I know and I'll be there, or I didn't know but now I do and I'll be
Yeah.
there. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vic. I hear the Vic Theater is in Chicago is awesome. I've not been there, but
Oh,
I
it's
hear it's
beautiful.
pretty
I've played
cool.
there with a few bands.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here and get you to Colorado. So, with regards to Spotify and with regards to streaming services and with all of, kind of the business side of it and the game of that, like for a band, is it more important to you to release your stuff as an album, or are you okay with releasing it as singles, or how bands are doing it nowadays?
Hey, for engagement, I think releasing a singles is a more prudent thing to do. If you want to sell albums at your table, buy merch. Buy merch. That's the one way we make money that actually is physical money that helps us out. Streaming does not pay. We've learned this, but it's good for engagement and it's good to get people to hear our music.
Streaming is more of like a sampler thing. I think like people want to fight the systems in place all the time, and it's just a losing battle.
It
And
really
like
is.
the analogy I see is like when vinyls came out, if you were like we only do sheet music, like everybody would be like you're crazy, and it's like technology is always like the music and technology are one of the most interlinked industries. Like other industries, like technology doesn't upset them as much, but technology upsets the business part of music so much so. And like, I don't hate streaming. I think like it's an opportunity for people to very cheaply be able to consume a lot of music. And I think people just look at it wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Sneezy is our merch plan is brilliant. Like shout out to Church, shout
Oh
out to
yeah.
the whole band because like
And Brian and
and
the
Brian
Asheville
like
team.
the
Yeah.
hats, the really cool posters, the really cool
Ropes.
onesie robes and all that stuff. It's like the music is free and like kind of even if you want to go spiritual, like music should be free in the sense that like music is the universal language. It's the thing
Yeah.
everybody believes. So it's like kind of cool. It's in a way cool that we live in a world where music is so free. And if bands want to be able to make money, they have to understand the music isn't the product. At least not anymore. I mean, maybe it was. I wasn't around. I was born in '92. I was like, I had CDs growing up, but like I've been intimate with the internet for a long time, and so yeah, I'm not bothered by the technology of the time. I would rather learn it and use it to my advantage than be angry about it.
Right. Absolutely.
Danny, I think you have a song title right there. Intimate with the Internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes,
Okay.
that is good. I like that.
That's a good,
I used to
yeah.
call
Yeah.
I used to call computers porn machines.
Yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah.
could be our dual A
You
and
know
B
that
side.
Avenue Q, the internet is for porn.
No.
It's
Oh, I gotta
puppet
check it
music. It's
out.
really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there, my friend.
Yeah. Lay down, girl.
So last question. Last question for you guys. So
Uh,
I personally and I'm always careful at how I say this. I really don't like social media. I don't like doing it. I don't like I don't it's not that I don't like promoting it. It's just the way that social media makes you promote stuff. As a band and kind of getting back to that whole, music versus commodity thing, how do you guys treat social media? How much is it important to you guys as a band?
we have a guy that handles our social media, or we have fans that create crazy meme pages.
Yeah.
And then, so social media kind of, for me, I post personal things like about the band. Danny is more of a teacher influencer
Yeah.
kind of energy. And the stuff for the band itself, we do shout out videos together, but we let our media guy kind of handle how it's distributed.
Well,
Uh,
and the band early on, I don't know if this was a conscious decision, but this is at least what panned out, is the band made a point to go play live.
yeah,
And
like,
I've made thousands of videos on social media, and I was in the mindset of a long time where I was like, I need to make a viral video. And then I made a couple viral videos, and it didn't actually grow my fan base. I've read 10 arguments to delete your social media. I understand that, like, psychologically social media is like destroying people's minds in a lot of ways. So all to be said, I think social media is not a priority for the band as a whole, and the priority is getting in
content.
front of people. Like, well, I guess I don't even know if content's a priority. Like, we make videos and stuff, but like, we drive to where people are and play music for them live. And I think it's kind of back to the living room thing and the just like music connecting with people. And like, no amount of production on a video is as good as being there.
Right.
You know? We even said that the Halloween video really moved you, but then you saw the band at Ramble, right?
Yeah.
Totally different experience to see it live. And I think Jack even said nobody started to care about the band until the band got on the road.
Yeah.
And I think that that is really powerful. And I think that that is how bands have always done it, probably. At least that's how it seems. I think
Sure.
if you want to grow a fan base,
You have to go there.
Go there, you know? And like, you can't just play the same little bar down the street every time because you're not going to grow. You got to, and talking about community and story building and stuff, like there's a story to, oh, this band from Chicago drove 12 hours to be here and their van broke down and they had to call a guy, you know, whatever it is. Like, there's, when you get out on the road, like, stories happen. You don't, it's not just like, we drove there and we played, and, you know, it's like weird shit happens and then that becomes the story and then people get excited about it.
Yeah, it's not just the Happy Meal at McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Chipotle.
sad meal at McDonald's.
It's Chipotle all day and somebody putting the wrong gas in the tank.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
No 93.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We need diesel all the way.
Well, guys, this has been so much fun. I
Oh
appreciate you
yeah.
doing it. Best of luck on this Colorado tour. Best of luck with the New Year's Eve show with Big Something.
Heck
Hope to
yeah.
see you guys next year, either on the road or wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Thank
is
you, Dog. Great to
Thanks,
meet you.
Dog.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to see you on the road too.
Man,
we can hug.
virtual hug.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands
Here,
like
down here.
Sneezy.
Whatever the link.
Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dog. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.